Hi friends, come to sit in a comfortable seat for you. Have your blanket and shawl or your blocks or your books, whichever you're using today to support you is fine. Hands facing down, rooting and grounding all of that energy that's buzzing around. Forefingers, thumbs meet for wisdom. Toes stretch, feet arch a bit. The shoulders roll from the ears, and you invite the shoulders above the hips as your sits bones press. Finding your slow, steady breath. And you know you're always welcome to have the soft gaze over tip of nose or to close your eyes as we tune in a bit. Invite the inhale. Invite the exhale. And with an inhale, invite palms to meet in front of heart center, thumbs pressing truly into your very own heart center, feeling your beat, your rhythm that connects us all in this circle we're a part of. We'll open with the sound of O-N-G, Om, creation manifested. After inhale as you wish. Bowing for a moment to wise one within, to the positive frame of mind, creating what we need, what we want, all that will heal us. Releasing hands to your knees and inviting that beautiful full moon energy to guide us through circular motion, moving from one knee to the other. Follow your inhale. Follow your exhale. Some of us may stay with smaller circles if we're feeling a bit tight or sore. Some may move into the wider circles. Listen to your body, please. Perhaps your head, your neck, your shoulders even grow involved. Remember the navel center is involved as you create your circles, pulling in and up a bit. Next time you arrive, center, pause a moment, reverse your circles. Again, reminding navel center to guide the movement. Follow your inhale. Follow your exhale. Perhaps noticing any differences from this side to the other. Giving ourselves permission to observe rather than judge. Permission to gather information about the body and how to better take care. And next time you come center stay, and we'll come to sit on the heels. So for some of us that may mean placing a blanket between the heels, or a block, or a book, or even a pillow if you have one, so you're propped up a bit. That same cushion could go underneath your ankles or in between the thighs and calves. So give yourself a moment, please, to be comfortable in your seat. And then your hands find their way to your upper legs. And on an inhale, your heart center moves forward. On an exhale, your heart center moves back. So it's similar to cat-cow. It's a spine flex. The navel is pulling in and up, and you're breathing through the nostrils, which is mostly what we do in our practice. You may stay slow and steady, or you can speed it up as you're ready. Keep moving, keep breathing. Now, if you were to speed up the process, of course, your breathing is going to quicken as well. Inhale, lengthen spine, slow, steady breath returns. On your next inhale, your arms will lengthen out to the side, so your wrists and your shoulders are in line, and you'll even feel your shoulder blades move toward each other. On an exhale, your hands find your shoulders. Keep the elbows up in line with the shoulders. Sometimes they sink lower. And on an inhale, you'll move to one side. On the exhale, to the other. Typically, twisting is very nice for the spine. If you're feeling a bit sore or tight, take it easy and move into it as you're ready. And again, it's a slow, steady breath at first, and then as you warm up, you're speeding the breathing and the moving through the nostrils. You're allowed to take a break and come back in as you're ready. Inhale brings you center. Slow, steady exhale. Slow, steady inhale. Exhale, release the hands to the lap. And on an inhale, we'll lift the shoulders up. On an exhale, release the shoulders. Move with your breathing. If you need to change your seat and come to cross-legged, please do. So you'll see sometimes it works best to focus on the exhale and let the inhale automatically happen. Sometimes we focus on both breaths. So after an inhale, we'll begin again. Slow, steady inhale. Slow, steady exhale. And you may notice with all of that breathing, you need to clear your throat or cough into your elbow, of course, or a tissue, or sneeze, or do what you need to do to release anything that we might be holding on to. Don't hold on to it, let it go, and then come back when you're ready. Bring your fingers to interlace, your 4 fingers point, and traditionally I was taught left thumb on top for feminine energy and right thumb on top for masculine energy. So you'll see what you need. You may need a balance or do what feels most comfortable. For those of us with tighter shoulders, we might have the elbows in front of the shoulders. When the shoulders feel just fine, you can bring your upper arms more in line with your ears. Slow, steady breathing. On the inhale, you may want to think or say or recite Sat, S-A-T. And on the exhale, you may think or say or recite Nam, N-A-M. Now, if you're going to move on to reciting out loud, you could Sat, pull the navel in and up, Nam, release the navel. Sat, Nam, Sat, Nam. It means truth, as you wish. Sat, Nam, Sat, Nam, Sat, Nam, Sat, Nam. You could also use the words I am if you prefer. I am. 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 Sat, Nam. 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 Slow, steady inhale. Pause a moment. Slow, steady exhale. Release the hands down the midline of the body. And we'll move to hands and knees, table pose. So if you know you like a little extra cushion under your knees, now would be a good time to set that up if you have a blanket, or you can even double up your mats if you have them. And you make do with whichever you have. Your wrists might be a little bit in front of your shoulders, especially if shoulders need some tender, loving care. Or you might bring the wrists directly under the shoulders. The knees are under the hips, and you know when you look through the knees, if you see the feet and toes, you'll move them so you don't see them. And then it's up to you. The tops of your feet could press into the mat with your toenails, or you can tuck your toes under. And again, we'll pull that good navel center in and up, and on an inhale, you'll find cow. On an exhale, you'll find cat. And you move with your breathing. As your spine feels warm, you can speed up the process. And of course, however you're moving is how you're breathing. And however you're breathing is how you're moving. As you feel balanced, you're welcome to close the eyes to continue the tuning in process. If you prefer to keep the soft gaze over the nose, you'll do so. Next time you exhale, stay in your cat. If possible, bring your wrists directly under your shoulders. Release the head and neck a bit more. Pulling it up through the navel at the back of the heart. Move toward the ceiling, emptying out any and all thinking. Emptying out anything in the way of creating good space for focusing on your breathing. On an inhale, lengthening the spine as you gaze forward, bringing the hands in front of your shoulders. Maybe the knees come a bit wider, the big toes to touch, and you take Balasana, your child's pose. And of course, if it would feel better to have a layer or a cushion between the thighs and calves, you'll set that up. Take the time to do that. You could also have a layer under your ankles. Maybe you'll start with a pillow for your forehead. Be sure your neck is comfortable is the idea. Or maybe your shoulders prefer that your arms lengthen and you release the forehead to the mat. Slow, steady breathing. Brain and breath, best friends. Inhale guides you forward to table. Some of us will take the modified dog. So you would bring the hands in front of you. Again, the palms are down, the elbows are up, your tail is up, your ears are in line with your upper arms, and your toes are tucked under. And this way it's a bit kinder, gentler to your wrists and your shoulders. Some of us will move to table and take it up and back to the full downward facing dog, where at first it may make sense to bend one knee and then the other, to lift one heel and then the other. Now, if you're in the modified dog, you can move to table and lift your right heel, push it back, pull the knee underneath, and step forward to get ready to move to the top of your mat with a giant step. If you're in the down dog, we'll take lots of steps forward. The moon salutations tend to be a bit gentler for the body. Hands move to the shins, and as you gaze forward, you find a nice long spine. So even your neck is in line with the rest of your spine. And exhale, find a full forward fold, head and neck releasing. Slow, steady breathing. On inhale, return to your half forward fold. We'll come up in steps the first time around, just in case that makes more sense for you. And then find your hands to your hips and come all the way up to stand at the top of your mat, where of course we'll invite the second and third toe in line with the heel. And the four corners of the feet will truly root and connect. So that would be 2 in the top of your foot and 2 in the heel. The knees pulling it up a bit. The navel pulls in and up a bit. And the shoulders roll from your ears. Close your eyes for a moment. Find balance. Find a giggle with balance. We know it's a pretty consistent search for us humans to discover balance, and then we find it and it goes away and we go searching once again. Open your eyes and reach your arms out and up. Palms meet overhead. Now your gaze will be to the floor a bit out in front of you, to the wall across from you, or if your upper back and your chest and your neck are in agreement, you can gaze up to those beautiful thumbs. So we have options here as well. Your hands could be shoulders width, or your palms can come to meet overhead, or you can take that same interlacing of fingers that we did in the beginning with the 4 fingers pointing and the thumbs stacked. And exhale brings those hands all the way down to the toes. And this is a place where some people might like blocks under their hands, or books if you have them. And we move into a full forward fold now. Your knees may bend a little or a lot. Again, during moon salutations, we tend to stay softer in our postures. Head and neck releasing the yeses, the nos, the answers, the need to have the answers. On an inhale, lifting head and heart, and your right foot will step back. Just remember, if your blanket is there, take a moment to pull it up through the inner edges of your thighs so your hips are good and centered. Push back through your heel, and now bring your back knee down as we move to half moon. Your back toes may tuck under again, or top of foot can press down. So toes tucked under tend to help us with our balance. One hand at a time to your front thigh, and options. Hands in front of you in line with your shoulders, arms overhead, hands apart, palms together, temple or steeple mudra if you wish. Some of us are working on taking really good care of the low back, so we'll stay right here in our center space. Some of us would prefer to open the hips a bit more, so we'll move forward. And either way, we're attempting to keep the heel and the knee in line. So you may have to wiggle your toes forward, or even come down and figure out where that front foot is compared to your knee. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Exhale, hands down the midline, fingertips to toe tips. You know you're welcome to move to child's pose, modified downward facing dog, or you can go right up and back to the full down dog. This time, let's press the heels toward the mat and press your hips toward the wall behind you. Gently bringing your gaze forward, followed by your knees. Maybe bring your hands a little bit in front of your shoulders. And as your elbows bend towards your upper body, your chin and your heart center move to the mat while your tailbone stays up a bit. Hands move near the chest, legs lengthen, and you come up into your cobra. Now, if you prefer to practice what some of us call crocodile, the Makarasana, or the Sphinx, please do that. And now let's find some circles in our cobra. Exhale, releasing. Inhale, lifting. And you are welcome to stay very close to the mat while you do this, or perhaps you'll come up a bit higher. Reversing your circles, inhaling to lift, exhale to release. Again, noticing, observing any differences from one side to the other. Inhale brings you center, and as you press down, you lift up. Again, child's pose, perhaps with the knees together this time. Arms alongside you if you like. Modified dog and full dog are both options. With the idea that you are giving yourself what you need. If you're in the modified dog, please move to table pose to lift your left heel up. Oh, there's the wall. If you're in full dog or table pose and you find the wall, use it. Press into it. And then pull that top knee underneath you and step forward. Once again, the back knee lowers and you find Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Hands make their way down the midline, fingertips to the toe tips, back toes tuck under to help you push off, come forward. Your fingertips walk forward, maybe to your blocks, toe heel as wide as the mat, hinge at the hips, bend at the knees, release your head and neck, hold elbows, almost elbows, stay still, or rock yourself gently, side to side. Inhale, come center. Fingertips release under the shoulders, toe heel, the feet all the way together if possible. And now, exhale so much so your upper body finds your upper legs, wrap your arms around your low legs, hold your elbows or almost your elbows. And on your next exhale, release. And on your next inhale, lengthen the legs, release the spine longer. Slow, steady breath. Trust the four corners of the feet to hold you steady. On your next inhale, start to return to your open-hearted mountain in steps or reverse swan dive all the way up to that beautiful open-hearted mountain with your hand placement, with the gaze that works for you. Perhaps it's a volcano pose. Hands make their way down the midline, balancing your good brain. Releasing hands at your sides, slow, steady breathing. Feet remain grounded for Chandra Namaskar, moon salutations. On an inhale, arms reach out and up. Find your balance, find your gaze, find your hand placement, perhaps the upper back bend. All that's situated below your heart, keeping you strong and steady. Bowing all the way forward, full forward fold, Uttanasana. Slow, steady breathing here. On an inhale, lifting your head and heart, left foot stepping back to the lunge. Take a moment to pull in and up through inner edges of thighs. Push back through your heel, back knee releasing, half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Will you stay centered or do your hips request a bit more attention? Hands make their way down the midline, fingertips to the toe tips, and back you go. Child's pose, modified dog, full dog as you wish. Slow, steady breathing. As you bring the gaze to your thumbs, you see those good fingers spread wide, the knees gently move to the mat, followed by the chest and the chin with the tail staying up. The legs begin to lengthen as you press through your palms and move your heart center forward and up. You may take a moment to check in with the second and third toe in line with your heels. Shoulders roll, elbows bend, gazing to a point that doesn't move in front of you. Some call it your drishti, to the floor in front of you, to the wall across from you, or if you're working a bit more with that heart opening, up to the ceiling. Take good care of you. And back you go. Child's pose, balasana, modified down dog, or the full Adho Mukha Svanasana. On an inhale, your right heel lifts up. And again, if you find the wall, go ahead and press into it. So if you're in your modified dog, you transition to table. Lift your right heel wherever you are. Top knee moves underneath you, and you're pushing through that back foot to find your lunge, followed by Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Hands make their way down the midline, fingertips to the toe tips, back toes tuck under, and you're pressing off to step all the way forward, fingertips clawing in front of you, toe heel as wide as the mat, hinge the hips, bend the knees. You may hold your elbows if you like, or perhaps you'll start to trace the symbol for infinity, moving side to side. That sideways looking number 8, if you will. And as you come center, press into your fingertips, the blocks if you wish, and heel toe your feet just so they're a bit more than hips width, and find your way to what some know as malasana or garland pose, or I first learned as goddess squat. So if you have a blanket or a cushion, you can always take a moment and roll a bit of that up to come under your heels, and then your elbows move inside your knees, your palms press, and you're lengthening your good spine all the way from your lower torso up through the crown of your head. Close your eyes, press palms, breathe. Releasing your hands, your fingertips, and we'll come back up to the half forward fold. Toe heel your feet to about hips width. Let's move the blanket now off to the side. I'm going to step my left foot back so I can face you. So you step the foot back that helps you see. And from lunge, We'll bring the back heel down, walk the fingers to the middle, and let your toes reach a bit out away from you and your heels come in. And from here, we'll lift the toes, arch the feet, bend your knees, and come up to your goddess pose, your full moon pose. If you like, middle finger to thumb for patience, courage, determination. You may stay still. You could rock from one heel to the other. If your knees feel uncomfortable, come still and situate your feet either a little wider or maybe even a little closer to see which feels better for your knees. And then on inhale, come center, find your 5-pointed star. And remember, those brilliant scientists say, we are all truly made of the same stuff, stardust, in fact. Bring your hands to your hips and we'll adjust the feet so they come in a bit. Bend your knees, and this time press through the balls of the feet, lift your heels. Be sure to keep your tail scooped a bit just so it doesn't travel too far away from your center space, and find your goddess arms once again. We'll come all the way down to that goddess squat. You may have to toe heel the feet in a bit. Palms pressing. Spine lengthening. Releasing your fingertips, and as you begin to lift the seat, we'll walk to one side of the mat to find a side lunge. So your heel will come in line with your hip. Your bent knee heel may be up, or you may be working on bringing it down to the mat. You might try one hand to your heart center. You might try the other. You might like your blocks or your books under your hands. Maybe both hands to your heart center. Keep practicing. Let's practice pressing that heel down a bit. And then bring your fingertips back to center space, and we'll move to the other side. See your heel in line with your hip. Have a giggle with your balance. One hand to your heart center, maybe the other. Perhaps both hands to your heart center. Release your hands, and again see about that heel moving a little closer to the mat. And then as your fingers move toward the body, we'll walk to center space again. Inhale, lift your head and your heart. See your feet in line with each other. Now, big toes can turn in a bit if you feel off balance. And then exhale, release to hold your forearms if possible. You could stack your blocks or books under your forearms and your forehead. Slow, steady breathing. On an inhale, lift your head and heart. Adjust your feet if needed, perhaps a little closer, maybe a little further apart. And on an exhale, as you release your head and heart, see about holding on to the outer edges of your calves. And now your elbows can bend away from you. Now, if this feels just fine and you're balanced, you might hook your peace fingers, your index and middle finger under your big toe. Your thumb presses the top. And again, you can lift the head to lengthen the spine a bit, and then exhale, release. Elbows bending a bit away from you. On the inhale, lift the head and heart. Let's try just one more here. So your fingers now will start to walk underneath you and then away from you. And if you have a block, you can slide that under your head. Maybe your head's starting to make its way to the floor. On an inhale, begin to lift your head and heart as your hands make their way under the shoulders. Heel toe it in to your goddess squat. Once again, elbows inside the knees, palms press. Slow, steady breathing. Releasing fingertips in front of you, one hand outside the foot, other hand reaching halfway across from the shoulder or all the way up, gazing over your fingertips. Exhale, release, and we'll switch sides. Hand outside the foot, other arm reaching across from the shoulder, maybe up. Top hand releasing and gently finding your way to the mat where you'll situate yourself, where you feel comfortable, soles of feet together, holding on to the toes or holding on to the ankles. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Some of us will stay right here. Some of us will prefer to bow forward a bit, maybe even have the forearms press into part of the shin or the thigh or both. On an inhale, lifting head and heart, bring your feet in front of you, still with the knees bent and the soles together. Maybe find that roll of blanket to place on top of your feet. Hold your knees a moment to open your heart, to lengthen the spine, and exhale, bow forward. You're welcome to stack your forearms so your forehead has a nice place to rest. You're also welcome to bring the hands under the low legs and let your forehead be supported by the blanket or simply your feet. Some of us like to hold on to the ankles, some of us like to press the palms down. On an inhale, begin to lift your head and heart, and we'll move the blanket to the side. Return the hands underneath your low legs. Press into your fingertips and your toe tips and begin to lift one leg. Maybe you'll practice one side, then the other. Stretch those toes and fingers to keep the arms and legs active. Maybe both legs. And maybe you'll turn into your own lotus flower blossoming. Remembering Thich Nhat Hanh guiding us to celebrate the mud, maybe. No mud, no lotus. Soaking in all of that delightful sunshine, vitamin D. Release your feet, give your knees a nice hug, and remember to lengthen your spine as you press through your feet and seat and lift up through your center space. Lifting all the way up through crown of head. Have your blanket nearby or your shawl as we lower to the mat. Up to you if you'll bend the knees or lengthen the legs, or come down however you like. Of course, you'll check and see that there's nothing to bump into behind you, and we'll lower in a bit of slow motion. And once you arrive, we'll bring the feet as wide as the mat, the arms in line with your shoulders. If you want to, for a moment, bring the knees to rest to release your back. And then windshield wiper side to side. And this time, as your knees arrive on one side, keep them there and lift the foot that's way out to the side up on top of the knee that's closer to the foot that's behind you. If this is uncomfortable, you know to place a prop, some kind of prop. Grab a pillow if you like under your knees, one or both of them. You're gazing to the ceiling, or you're gently lifting the head and gazing away from your knees. On an inhale, bring your head center, continue with your legs moving center, and now we'll move the knees to the other side of the mat. Again, you're lifting the foot that's a bit out in front to rest on top of the knee that has the foot that's a bit behind you. You look like a bit of a zigzag. Your gaze is to the ceiling. You're propping under the knees if you like. Or you're gently gazing away from your knees. Bringing your head center, bring your knees center. Give those knees a little hug and hold your knees now so that they're above your hips, and press your heels so that they're in front of your knees, and press into your low back just near your tailbone, your sacrum even, so there's just a tiny bit of space between mid to low back and the mat. And stay like this in one variation of our happy baby. This version is suggested especially for folks whose backs may need some good healing work. Now, if your back is feeling just fine and you know the other happy baby, you may want to let your soles of feet face the ceiling and your hands can reach for the insides of your feet as your knees move a little bit closer to you. You're welcome to stay still or rock side to side, and remember your own inner happy baby. Slow, steady breathing guiding you. And then as your inhale comes center, give those knees a giant hug. Hold elbows, almost elbows. Pull your nose, your forehead to your knees, and exhale. Release the grip a bit. The head to the mat. Big inhale. Squeeze everything in. Exhale. Release the head to the mat. Grip just a bit. One more big inhale. Exhale. Release. And prepare for your resting portion of your practice, Shavasana. If the back is tender, you can keep a bend in the knees. If all is feeling just fine, you can start to flop those
legs away from you, the toes away from each other. Give yourself a moment to find a layer as we grow still. Sometimes the body needs to feel more comfortable temperature-wise with a layer. Palms facing open if possible. See which feels best for you. Palms down or palms open. Release your fingers and your toes. Release your ankles and your wrists. Release your knees and your elbows. Hips release, jaw bones rest. It's all connected. Encourage your tongue to take rest. Release all of your vocalizing muscles. Release all of your auditory muscles. Let your tasting, your smelling rest. Your breathing may become softer now, trusting all that knows how to do its good work, do so without your controlling it now. Your viewing muscles resting. Perhaps imagine a clean paintbrush or feather moving across your forehead, letting all of your thinking take rest. Releasing across the top of your head, down the back of your skull, through the back of your neck, all the way down the spine, through the backs of the legs, to your heels, to the soles of your feet, the whole body taking good rest. Gently beginning to wiggle fingers and toes, to round ankles and wrists in one direction and then in the other. To give yourself a good stretch through your fingers and your toes. Maybe even letting one side reach longer than the other, and then the second side receives that same space on the reach. And as you come center, bend the knees, rub the soles of feet together and the palms of hands together, waking thousands of nerve endings. And then rest your feet and cup your hands. You choose over your ears or your eyes. Breathe. Give your knees a good hug. You can rock and roll your way forward to your seat, or you might prefer to rock to one side and then your top hand
presses down to guide you up to your seated position, where you're welcome to find a prop under your seat so you're comfortable, and you're welcome to cover your spine with a layer if you like. Important for your breath work and your meditation. So typically, classically, or traditionally in yoga, we do our asana practice, all of our exercises, moving the body, linked with the breath, and then we sit to breathe, and that good breathing guides us into meditation. So let your palms rest open, receiving all of that wonderful energy you've just created for yourself, and therefore for others. And we'll continue with Kapalabhati, which is slower and sharper than breath of fire. So you know, if there's pregnancy or high blood pressure, you'll stay with a slow, steady breath, please. Inhale quite fully. Exhale very completely. Inhale more than you think you can. And begin. If you are new to this or remembering, it's the navel center pulling in and up and even snapping back a bit toward the spine. And on that snap is when you're pushing the exhale through the nostrils. Your mouth is closed. The exhale is the focus. The inhale automatically happens. Breath out. Slow, steady inhale. Slow, steady exhale. Alternate nostril breath to balance the brain. The right hand prepares. Some of us practice the mudra with second and third finger bowing in and fourth and fifth finger staying out. And your right thumb closes your right nostril. You exhale left. Inhale. Close left. Pause a moment if possible. Exhale right. Inhale. Close. Pause. Exhale left. Inhale. Close. Pause. Exhale right. Inhale. Close. Pause. Exhale left. Inhale. Close. Pause. Exhale right. Continue a few more at your own pace. Notice if your chin tilted very far forward, and on an inhale, lift the chin a bit. Next time you exhale right, return hands to heart center, slow, steady inhale. Slow, steady exhale. Closing with the sounds for mercy, healing, and compassion. Om, you know, O-M or A-U-M. Namo, Guru, Dev, Namo. After, inhale as you wish. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. So those were the words to remind you to trust your wise inner teacher. And now we'll do the sounds for truly mercy, healing, and compassion, which are Om, Namo, and this time it's Quan Shi Yin for the goddess Kuan Yin, Pusa, Om Namo Quan Shi Yin Pusa, as you wish after inhale. Om Namo Quan Shi Yin Pusa. Om Namo Quan Shi Yin Pusa. Om Namo Quan Shi Yin Pusa. Bowing to the wise one within, bowing to all that is merciful, kind, compassionate, and healing within you and around you. Peaceful full moon friends, thank you for sharing your practice. Feel free to take some time and be and breathe here. As you wish, focus on the chakra for intuition, that place between the eyebrows up, center forehead. Or if you prefer, focus your inner gaze on your heart center. So either way, as you wish, the eyes are closed. Pulling in and up a bit, gazing to the bright light. Or pulling in and gazing to your heart center. On inhale, bringing hands to heart center. Satnam, Satnam, Satnam. Take good care.